Lorell LaBoube, small-town boy from Berger, Missouri, who grew into the man who would be known as the voice of practical bioethics because of his background in radio.
I think his work at Menorah realized this is a field where I know I can make an impact. And I think he did. And not just because he was interested in healthcare, but because he had such passion for his work.
Lorell always really had a knack for interviewing and dealing with issues with physicians. And throughout his career, he was always kind of the go-to person for media relations when it came to the healthcare industry.
When the center finally got to a place in its growth and development that we could hire a communication director, I don't really think we interviewed anybody else.
I don't think I've ever seen him as happy as he was the 10 years that he worked here.
You know, when he and his wife, Diane, who he referred to as his bride, throughout their marriage, when they were out and about, people who had never met him would recognize his voice or his great radio name.
I'm here with Lori Woodring. Your son's a senior tonight. He's been involved with a lot of action tonight. You're going to miss that, aren't you?
And that professionalism came across in his radio work as well on News Radio 980 KMBZ, relating to the St. Luke's Medical Minute.
Cardiac imaging is critically important to the accurate diagnosis and management of heart disease.
Many of these people who had never met him felt like they knew him from those minutes on the radio or from his podcast for the center.
Here we go. It's just another typical day at the Center for Practical Bioethics.
Times they are a-changin', so wrote folk singer Bob Dylan back in the 1960s. It's almost 2012, and at the Center for Practical Bioethics, times are still a-changin', or are they? I'm Lorell LaBoube. Welcome to the Bioethics Channel.
And no matter who he was talking to, Lorell was never intimidated. People all over the world knew Lorell's skill, professionalism from the library of podcasts he leaves behind.
I think the most important legacy that Lorell left us was the ability to take a very complex notion that most people think they can't understand and put it into language and experience that's meaningful to the listener.
He really did transform the center through communications. And frankly, through that, in a large way, he had a significant impact on bioethics, on the field of bioethics itself.
Lorell was known for his strong work ethic in the office, but how he conducted himself outside of the office may be his most endearing legacy.
Lorell was an extremely devoted husband and stepfather. He talked about his wife in reverential tones every day. I thought my lovely wife Diane was all one word for the first month I knew Lorell. And sometimes it was my lovely bride Diane. His stepchildren were on his mind all the time. Lorell was an extremely positive person. He walked in here every day and spoke to every single one of his colleagues by name every day. He was positive by nature, and one of the things we heard over and over again as people reached out to us at the time of his death was that they never heard Lorell LaBoube say a bad thing about anybody. That was certainly my experience, and I spent the better part of every day with him, and that's a remarkable quality and legacy.
I'm Lorell LaBoube. Thanks for listening to the Bioethics Channel.